The Western educated elite in India rarely know much about the traditional Indian calendar and regard the Christian calendar as secular and universal. The original Roman calendar appears to have consisted only of 10 months to a year, comprising of 304 days. The remaining 61 and a quarter days were apparently ignored, resulting in a gap during the winter season. The Julian calendar was put into effect by Julius Caesar in 46 BC. However, the system was flawed and miscalculated the length of the solar year by 11 minutes. The months found in the Julian calendar were named after Roman gods as also historical figures and Latin terms. January was named after Janus, February in honor of Februus, March derived its name from Mars, while April was chosen from Aphrodite, May in honor of Maya, June was named after Juno, July was selected after Julius Caesar, and August was named after Augustus Caesar. September, 7 in Sanskrit. October from Sanskrit for 8. November, 9 in Sanskrit, and December from Sanskrit for 10. The calendar became the predominant calendar in the Roman Empire and subsequently for most of the Western world for more than 1600 years until 1582. Over the years, the Julian calendar did not sync with the seasons, and this became noticeable in the 1570s, producing a calendar that was off by 10 days. In the 1500s, the Roman Catholic Church noticed that Easter occurred later and later in the spring over the centuries.
Now, Pope Gregory has sort of gone down in history as being the one that reformed the calendar. He introduced what is now called the Gregorian calendar, taking its name from him, Pope Gregory. It also included a reform of the lunar cycle used by the Church to calculate the date of Easter.
If something wasn't done, Easter would slide right into summer and eventually fall. Something had to be done. So, in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII ordered the implementation of the Gregorian calendar. To put Easter back where it belonged, he shortened the year by 10 days. The last day of the Julian calendar was October 4th, 1582, and the first day of the Gregorian calendar was October 15, 1582. As a result, Easter came 10 days earlier in the following year when compared to solar events like the spring equinox. Overtly, the Gregorian reform was solely for the purposes of Christian rituals and corrected the earlier slip in the date of Easter by 1 day in a century. Such a correction may not be appropriate for other secular purposes, since the length of each year still remains incorrect. This Gregorian calendar, which propagates superstition and historical untruth and is unscientific and inaccurate, is however the only calendar that most Western educated people learn. To state any date, one must recite the superstitious belief in AD and BC, the rectification of which is offensive for non-Christians and involves a historical falsehood. The 0 point of the calendar was fixed only in the 6th century CE in relation to the date of Easter. Is the main subject of the text Vedanga Jyotisha. Rigveda Jyotisha and Yajurveda Jyotisha contain 36 and 44 verses each of the Vedanga Jyotisha text. The text is said to belong to later date 1400 BC. During Rigvedic times, astral sciences were highly developed, where people acquired knowledge of the movement of the sun and moon for knowing the seasons, which was important in performing yajnas. Western education not only sidelines other cultures, but also implants the deepest suspicion of anything non-Christian.